Hello there everybody, this is going to be the first video, hopefully in a series of videos that function half as devlogs for my game, and the other half as sort of a journal for my life or whatever's been on my mind. I've been working on this game for about half of my college life, and I'm very proud of it, but there's also a lot of stuff that I think needs improving on. There's a lot of older stuff in the game that isn't as good as my standards now. There's a lot of enemies in the game or bosses that I feel like I would definitely make better had I had started on them today. But I'm also struggling with adding new stuff to the game that I want to. There's a whole new area in the game that I'm working on, which is like a forest area. But you know, I should probably actually tell you about what the actual game is. So the story premise of the game is that you are an archangel that was watching over this human on Earth, and you're excited to meet this human. But for some reason, this human does not make it into heaven when they die, and they get sent to hell. So it is your job to go down from heaven into hell to go rescue them. The game itself is like a boomer shooter with a big focus on movement, and it has some Souls-like elements and Metroidvania elements that I want to add into the world. It has a lot of movement specifically tied to the weapons that you unlock. For example, the shotgun, which is the first unlockable weapon aside from your starter revolver, it gives you a sort of double jump, and you can accomplish this by aiming down when jumping, and the recoil of the blast will propel you up, which is essentially just like a double jump. For the revolver, you get a sort of grappling hook, which you can use to attach to hooks placed around the world. And for the autocannon, or the arm cannon, you can rush forward to make a bull rush, which lets you insta-kill a lot of common enemies and cross over water. And I think tying the movement to the weapons is a nice way to blend the Metroidvania and boomer shooter genres. The actual world of the game is heavily inspired by the original Dark Souls. In that game I loved how interconnected everything was. I loved how when you got to Undead Parish you could find an elevator that led all the way down to Firelink Shrine, and you could see how these two puzzle pieces of the world fit together and functioned. It was so cool in that game how you could see different parts of the world from different points of the map. You could see parts of Blighttown from Firelink Shrine, you could see parts of Anor Londo shining down from Undead Parish. It was so neat just being able to see the different parts of the world, and later would become places that you travel, because it lets you know how far you've come. Now, so far I've only really done much of the heaven section of the game. I really want to focus on the purgatory and hell sections of the game next. And I have a pretty good idea what I want to do for hell. For purgatory, there's a lot of stuff I could do, and I'm not sure what direction I could go into. I'm leaning towards giving the humans in purgatory some kind of technology. I thought about giving them steampunk technology, because they're going to need some kind of advantage to be a force that you're going to have to fight, and also go toe-to-toe with demons and angels. In the original Dark Souls, it kind of limits how you can fast travel throughout the game until you get about halfway through the game, and that ends up working so well for that game because it makes it feel like every new area is dangerous and you're lost in it until you find a bonfire. And in this game we have tabernacles, which are kind of like the bonfire. They warp you to the hub world, and you can choose which portal or tabernacle you want to warp to from there, which does function as a sort of fast travel, but I do want to limit that because I do want to recreate that effect in Dark Souls that works so well. I do at one point want to have cutscenes in the game that have dialogue. I don't think I'm going to do voice acting. I don't know if that would really work for this game, but I want to emulate the cutscenes similar to games like Wind Waker, where they just have very stylized characters with stylized eyes and just very expressive faces on 2D rigs. And the main character in the game is Rafaela. Here's what she looks like. I did make a rig for her and a few facial expressions. I'm probably going to need a lot more once I start adding actual cutscenes to the game, I imagine. But I think this really... I think this art style really works for the characters. I really like this, and it took me a long time to find a style that sticks for the characters, but please let me know what you think of it. Sadly, I'm having trouble actually finding the time to work on this project now. When I was in college, I could usually always find time. My last year of college, I entered into a master's program for digital arts, and that was really busy, and I started working on some other projects. And after I graduated from that, I worked on it a little bit, but also while I was looking for an internship, and it took me so long to actually find an internship, a place that would hire me. I eventually did, but now I have another problem where I can't really find the time to work on this project as much. And I do like my internship, but it's definitely... I'm not working on the kind of stuff that I'm super passionate about. So I'm hoping that if I get some kind of following or some kind of YouTube career, I could actually find the time to work on this project more and hopefully finish it. I just hope that there's people out there that actually resonate with it, that are interested in playing it, that want to give me feedback or help on stuff I should add, stuff I should change. People want to try the game. People have ideas for the story, or even if they want to reach out to help on it or something. As for what I've done so far, I've made... There's about 3 levels of varying completionness. I have the first level, which is like a prison level inside of heaven, and that one is mostly complete. I have all of the progression down. I have most of the rooms pretty finished and finalized, and I have an actual boss at the end of that level as well. And as I was saying in the beginning of the video, some of the stuff I think needs to be improved on, and the boss is definitely one of them. It was cool when I first made it, but looking back, it's definitely a little bit janky, and I could improve it a lot. I could probably just change this boss to like a mini boss and just work on like a more, just a fancier, flashier boss. And after that, there's like a city level in heaven. That's mostly complete. I still need a boss for that level, but the progression is mostly done, and the enemies are placed in the rooms, and layout is generally correct. After that, there's a forest level. That needs some work. I'm still in the process of placing stuff. I'm still in the process of adding enemies to it and decoration. And after that, I need to plan on the new areas to add. There's also like a sewer level, which is like an alternate way to get to Purgatory through the prison. You can get that once you get the arm upgrade, which lets you run forward. After that, I have some planning to do, because the next level is probably going to be in Purgatory, and I think it's going to be a sort of labyrinth level, but I still need to get the aesthetic down for Purgatory. I have some ideas, but no concrete plan. That I definitely need to brainstorm on. Like I said, I think I want to give them some kind of like steampunk aesthetic and a very like, also like a woodsy aesthetic, kind of like Over the Garden Wall a little bit, with how that world was constructed and how everything felt like a very like grim, nostalgic autumn. But yeah, that is a look at my game Eden's Inferno. I would love any kind of feedback, any ideas, anything you think about the game. I would love to hear. I hope it resonates with somebody. I would love to keep working on it. And hopefully I can get some kind of demo out shortly to get people to play. There actually is one out on itch, which I'll probably link in the description, but it's definitely been a while since I updated it. There's a lot of new stuff now. So yeah, please let me know what you think, and let me know what kinds of videos you would like in the future.